can tell you this now, my hand on my heart. If I was a meat eater, would I have sat at the table where a dog was being consumed? No, I wouldn't. I probably would have had my arms up in the air going, oh my God, they're sick, that's wrong, how dare you eat a dog?
Hi beautiful beings. So today's video I'm again talking to Mippy. This time we're talking about her liberation pledge and why she's taken it, why she feels it's important, and I hope by the end of the video you'll be inspired to look into the pledge more and take the pledge. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks for having me. Hello everyone.
So Mippy, I'm not going to go over why you became vegan, which is my usual question on this because we've answered it in a previous video, which I'll put the link to on this one. But what inspired you to take the pledge?
So there was a couple of reasons actually. One was I went to which was the set in stone for me was I went to a vegan festival in Scotland, and there was a guy who spoke about the liberation pledge and spoke about China and the bounding of feet, and pledging that they wouldn't bind their daughters' feet or let their sons marry a woman with bound feet, and seeing how their social norm had changed from people just taking a pledge. I feel like we're at that point now where, you know, of changing social change of like, oh, I don't, because like, let's face it, if somebody loves you and you say to them, I don't want to sit where dead animals are being consumed, then if a person likes you and respects you as a person, of course they're going to go, okay, let's all eat vegan, which is, you know, a win-win for the animals and a win for me. And also I really don't like sitting with death, like, and if I was a meat eater, and I can tell you this now, my hand on my heart, if I was a meat eater, would I have sat at the table where a dog was being consumed? No, I wouldn't. I probably would have had my arms up in the air going, oh my God, they're sick, that's wrong, how dare you eat a dog? Because, you know, I was that meat eating animal lover who had the blinkers on, and I wouldn't have sat at a table where there would have been a guinea pig or a cat or a dog being eaten. So why am I not having that same moral values for myself with, you know, the cows, pigs, chickens and sheep or whatever? And I also don't like the smell of meat. It actually makes me feel quite sick. And like, it's funny, I think I've been vegan for like 11 years now. And when I go home to England to see my family, like, they can't smell it. They actually cannot smell it. But sometimes their house smells like a butcher's shop. Like, you can smell that decomposing bodies, and I don't think they can smell it anymore. But me, I can smell it. And when they're cooking it, I just don't even want to be in the house. Like, I've got my windows open, I've got my door shut, and I'm just like, nah, I've got to go out. I'm going to go for a walk because it's just sitting bleh.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same as me. I did it because I didn't want to sit at the table. I found those situations really stressful and uncomfortable, and I'd be upset afterwards with my husband comforting me because I was just crying and stressed out and also angry as well. I'd get really angry after seeing family and friends, and I don't want to feel like that when I saw them. So how did you go about telling your family that you'd taken the pledge, your family and friends? What did you say to them? The non-vegan ones, obviously.
It's very rare that I ever sit at a dinner table before the pledge of where animals were being eaten anyway. Where have I had to bring up the pledge? I'll just go for a walk. The only time I've ever found it difficult is when I've been staying with, so I've got an earth child. And when I'm staying around theirs, so I can spend some time with him, that is predominantly a non-vegan household. And I like, when I'm there, I just try to get by, because I can't tell people what they can and can't eat in their own household. I'm their guest. So what I'd like to do is I like to make food for everybody, and everybody likes food being cooked for them, and that's how I get around that. And I haven't really spoke to them about the Liberation Pledge because I don't feel like that is my place to do so. If they were going to come into my house, or if we were going out for a meal, of course I would bring it up quite happily. But me going to stay around their house as their guest, I find that personally awkward. and I don't want to come across as an asshole because I'm staying in their house and on their rules. So I bypass that by going, hey, let me cook for everybody, and I make all this yummy food. So that's how I get around that one. I have spoke about it. It's been very rarely I speak about it, because I think anybody who knows me and knows how much I care and love animals would never, in the right mind, would ever want to consume animals in front of me, because, you know, that's like, would you kill and, I don't know, eat a dog in front of a dog lover? No, you wouldn't. So why would you eat animals in front of a vegan? Like, it's common sense, really, isn't it? And yeah.
So you haven't really spoken to many people about it, but is there anyone that you have spoken to about it and they've reacted? If their reaction been positive or negative?
Yeah. So I remember when I was, so this is my fork. I got like a love heart, and it says on it, until every cage empty, and liberation just there with the V. Can't really see it, but that's my fork. When I was getting it engraved, there was this beautiful little old lady, and this was in Indonesia, and this lady was from America, and we just started talking, and we hit it off, and we were just blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh, would you like to come out for some tacos? And I'm like, yeah. And then she asked about my fork, and I went, I've taken the Liberation Pledge. And she asked what that is, and I explained what it was, and she went, oh, well, this taco place isn't vegan. And I was like, oh, well, that's a shame. Would you like to enjoy vegan tacos? And she went, how about we do breakfast tomorrow and of a place that you pick? And I was like, perfect. So I picked a vegan restaurant where we went for breakfast the next day, where she got to enjoy really good vegan food and got to have an animal rights talk with her. Now, I don't think we would have had that animal rights talk if it wasn't for my Liberation Pledge. The only other time I have found the Liberation Pledge difficult, where I have brought it up to see if I could just test the water, but it just backfired on me in every sense. And that was, I tried on a plane. Because I heard this guy say, and I was like, let me see if I can just sit next to vegan and vegetarians. Like, that would be pretty cool, sitting on a plane. I could have a good old chinwag with them or whatever. That didn't work. But what they did do, because I said I don't like to eat round meat, what they did was they actually brought my food first time before anyone else on the plane, to make sure that I'd had my food before any of the people on my road been given food, which was also a bonus. So I got to eat my food and then just be like sitting there, like be like, ugh.
That's not even a situation I've thought about, being on a plane, actually.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever I feel like that works in my favour, because, you know, food's coming around and everyone's like, gimme, and I just got mine straight up first time, every time on that. But I have been on a plane once where everybody on the plane got a vegan meal.
Wow.
That was cool. That was in Thailand, on a Thai airline going from, I think it was either I think it was from Cambodia to Thailand, I think. And everyone was complaining, except for me. It was like, woohoo, selfie! Everyone's getting vegan meals. The woman next to me ends up like pulling out fish out of a bag, and I was like, who carries fish in their bag? And it just starts adding all this thing. You know, it's just like, I'm so happy everybody on this plane's been given a vegan meal. And the guy next to me was like, you like this, and I'm like, yeah, very good. And it was like, it wasn't the best vegan meal, I ain't gonna lie. It was like it was a bit of tofu with like some weird ass vinegar dressing with salad, and that was it. And it was the most plainest thing in the world, but I was so made up it was vegan, and I thought it was all right. But yeah, when you're really out, really.
But to be fair, when a meal's on flight's ever good. It's like hospital food, isn't it? A meal on an aeroplane usually.
I don't know. We had like a burst of vegan food on the airlines in Australia, and they even did vegan Rocky Road at one point.
Wow.
Really good. And I was like, yes, can't even get this in the shops in Australia. I'm gonna have to get a flight every time I want vegan Rocky Road.
That's gonna be some expensive vegan Rocky Road.
Yeah, well, they do say vegans like to travel far and wide for their food.
Definitely. So those are two quite positive experiences, and I found that, like, so that's someone you've met, this lady that you met when you were having your bracelet engraved. it opens up the conversation. I've found on the experiences that I've had with non-vegans, they've talked about it more. Not all of the people, but definitely some parts of my family and friends have like started like bombarding me with loads of questions, and I think it makes them more comfortable to talk about it when there's not an animal in front of them as well.
Yeah, and also like I was a bit reluctant to start off with wanting to do the Liberation Pledge, because I found every time I did sit at a dinner table with non-vegans, it was like I was the face of the animal that they were eating. And it doesn't matter if I didn't have to say anything. It'd be like, I'm sorry, Mippy, I'm sorry. And I'm like, what are you apologizing for me for? It's not a bloody knife got in my neck for you. It's the animal on your plate. And like, no, they were the ones who were about to bring it up. And you know, like, I think when you've got that subconscious and you're telling them really, really like sad facts about when you are talking about animal liberation and what animals go through and suffering and stuff, someone doesn't want that rolling around their mouth while you're talking about it. So if you're going to have that animal rights talk, have it over a good vegan meal so they get in the taste of how good the food tastes, and they're not feeling guilty at that moment. Because once someone starts feeling guilty, they might start closing themselves off to the shit you're saying to them, because they've already got what's going on in their mouth and going, actually, the look at this, what I'm hearing is now not enjoyable, and they might close off. So once you're sat down having that vegan conversation with them, animal cruelty conversation with them over a vegan meal, then you know you've got it's like a home run, isn't it? They've got the taste buds going, yeah, I could live on this. This tastes amazing, and what you're telling me is really messed up, and I don't want to contribute towards that, and I'm worried about what I'm going to eat while I'm still eating, because I'm already answering my own questions because I'm getting all this yumminess. It's like it's a win-win situation, and you know, if like I said, if someone loves you, they won't eat animals around you, because that's just messed up.
Yeah, I've got this saying that so Christmas we had just a vegan meal at our house, and we invited one friend over. Neither of our families wanted to come because they wanted to have the turkey on the table, and so I said my family would rather have a dead animal on the table than me sat around the table.
Yeah,
which
is pretty sad, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think there's such a strong connection to food, and it goes. I remember one Christmas Eve I went out, and for Christmas I went and dumpster dived a load of food, and then I went to a pig farm and I cut up all this fruit, and I had like backpacks of like watermelon, apples, carrots, you name it, all in my backpack. And I went out to a pig farm where there was mums stuck in cages, and as for Christmas I went and gave all these mums stuck in these tiny cages a little treat for Christmas Day. And I went, and we also took a couple of baby piglets with us when we left, to liberate them, and that was my Christmas present to myself and for the mother pigs. And my family have this tradition on Christmas Day of baking butties, and you know, Christmas morning they're waking up and you know they're getting ready to make their bacon butties. I'm already online on Facebook video going, hi, Merry Christmas, look at this, and show them this baby piglet, and my mum's going, oh, it's so cute. And then I started telling her everything about what I just did the night before, and she straight away, she's like, you've ruined my bacon butties. Do you know I have bacon butties for every Christmas, and now you've ruined it for me? And I'm just like, how have I ruined that for you? Like, it's just like,
that's good. Like, then one of my the pig vigils that I went on, my sister-in-law's mum saw the video, and I don't know if she's still doing this now, but she didn't go vegan, but she stopped eating pig because of the footage that I showed. So I don't know if she still is now, but I know that she was, and that was like, good, I've reached out. So I'm glad I've ruined it for you. I'm glad I've ruined the bacon sandwich for you. So how would you say the pledge has affected you? Because it sounds like you were already living the pledge before you took it anyway.
Yeah.
But,
I think so the only time I've ever like really struggled with the pledge has been it's a lot less than what I thought it was going to be. But saying that though, I'm never really eating with non-vegans, or when I am with non-vegans, they tend not to eat animals around me. And the only time I ever struggled was I actually had an interview by a vegan, who was interviewing me for a vegan role, and he was with his mate who was a meat eater, and I didn't know. And then we all sat down at the table and we went to a pub that has a vegan menu and a non-vegan menu, and we all ordered the same food except for the two guys on the table who were not vegan. I just assumed everybody was vegan, and this guy was sat next to me. And then when the food came out, I seen what he was eating, and I was like, and I didn't want to have to be like, oh, and like, but I think I can't hide myself. I was like, and before you know it, I'm like got half a butt cheek on it's like benches. So I'm sat next to him, I've got half a butt cheek on, and then I've just made an excuse and I just swapped tables, and that's not because I'm a pledge, but because I just didn't want to sit next to it. I didn't want to smell it, and it got to the point where the guy at the end of the meal's going, "Oh, I'm so hot," and he's got this chicken parmigiana laid with bacon and then cheese on top, and he didn't even want to finish it. And I felt like I wanted to pick it up and ram down in front. He goes, "Oh, this is so painful for me to finish this," and I'm just like, "Painful for you?" I'm just like, I'm like, I've just had an interview by this guy who's vegan, and I'm trying to like play all cool. I'm just gonna sit on the table, I'm just on my phone because I just cannot cope. But I think the guys, even though I didn't say anything, I think I am one of those people. It doesn't matter how I'm feeling. I can't hide it. My face is gonna say it all. Like, I'm just like, if I don't like something, I'm like, it's one of those things. It's gonna happen. But yeah, I think my face said it all, because I remember the other two vegans were looking at each other, looking at me, and were like, Mips does not look happy, and it was like, isn't she gonna open her mouth? And I'm just like
yeah,
sometimes
I'm like that as well. I can't hide my emotions on my face, and I also don't think before I speak, and I kind of like say things that might be inappropriate and piss people off sometimes. But
it's all right. I think my biggest accomplishment in life is keeping my mouth closed.
Yeah, no, my friends that have known me for years will tell you how gobby I am and how I just say it as it is, and I tend to upset people sometimes. I'm not one of those friends that go, "Oh yeah, no, that dress looks great on you." If it doesn't, if it looks like shit, I'm going to tell you it looks like shit.
Yeah, it's got to be done. If I look like shit, I want my mates to tell me, you know what I mean? Like, that's what called being a good friend is. So, yeah.
And I'm the same with animal rights as well, I just bring it up. So, for my final question, what advice would you give people that are thinking about taking the Liberation Pledge?
My advice to people taking the Liberation Pledge is, it's not as scary as a thought as what you think it would be, and those who love you and care about you will be more than happy to sit at a table and eat and share a vegan meal with you. And if they don't want to share a vegan meal with you, then, you know, why would you want to sit at a table with them anyway? Because you wouldn't sit there where your dog's being eaten. And, you know, taking that standpoint, if they really do care about you, then they're going to share a vegan meal with you. And this isn't the Liberation Pledge isn't about just like fit it to mold your life. So, you know, like I couldn't sit at an all vegan airline on the plane, but, you know, and if my sister was to get married, I'm not gonna come to your wedding because all your food's not vegan. You fit it in where you possibly can. And, you know, you don't have to, you know, you start off with baby steps if you feel like you need to do baby steps until you work your way up to like completely feeling comfortable way to do it. And it also gives you that opportunity to talk and opens up for people to ask questions over a Taste and Nutrition vegan meal.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for joining me for this other interview. And hopefully it will get people taking the Liberation Pledge.
Yeah. Thank you for having me as well, and take the pledge. Get your fork on your wrist.
Yeah, get your fork on. Get your fork on. 100%. That should be a new Liberation Pledge like slogan. Get your fork on.
Get your fork on.
Thanks again, Mippy. Honestly, I'm so like, it's been a pleasure to talk to you and actually talk to you in the flesh rather than quick little messages on what's the best megaphone to get. That was probably
actually, did I send you the link to that one in
you did,
Germany? Yeah, that's better than the one I've got here. You can't get that megaphone here, and that one that I said to you to get is probably the best megaphone. And I've got one of them in England, but it got confiscated off me in the airport. God damn it.
I think that's the same one I've got, and I took it on the march in London last year because I ordered it and it didn't turn up in time for the Bristol Animal Rights March, so I just used it, the London one instead. But
yeah, it's pretty loud, aren't they?
It is really loud. I actually, when we did the clap for the NHS, my husband was so embarrassed, but I took it out and was like putting the siren on, and he was just like, "What are you doing?"
Thank you, NHS.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you have been inspired by Mippy's story of the Liberation Pledge, then please comment below. I'll pop a link to the Liberation Pledge website and some other links where you can buy a fork bracelet. And please don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you, bye.